Hey, welcome to Deep Talks. Today we're talking about Happy Dad. Since that's a hard seltzer company, I thought, oh, why not do it while enjoying a sour? And this one has a twist on it. Instead of the regular stuff, we used an Old Spice rum called Dorado. It's pretty good, actually. So, Happy Dad, what is it? How do they make money? And why are they interesting? Right? Let's get into it. I'm Deepak Devjani. I'm a CTO, and I work with founders to help build and grow their companies. In these Deep Talk series, we focus on some of the biggest companies today. How do they make money? And what did they do to grow into the companies they are? Sometimes I'm also starting to look into companies that are just interesting, right? They have some unique business model, or the way they are going about it can tell us things to learn from, can give us things to learn from. So why not go into that? Happy Dad is one such company. It's not a big one yet, but it's definitely interesting. Happy Dad is the hard seltzer company that is pretty recent, pretty new. It only launched in June 2021. It started off by YouTube creators, believe it or not, called the Nelk Boys. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them. They have about 7 million YouTube subscribers, plus other followers in other platforms as well. Now, how do they make money? How does Happy Dad Hard Seltzer make money? Well, let's talk about that. Happy Dad sells their seltzers directly on their site. That's the first way. Second, they sell Happy Dad merchandise, right? Other stuff other than the hard seltzer. They also are now starting to distribute Happy Dad's hot seltzer through your local grocery stores and supermarkets. That's going to be the biggest distribution point. So let's talk about our take on Happy Dad. Now, right off the bat, the Nelk Boys have a massive audience. They've already shown that they are able to leverage their audience to start a brand and sell merchandise, and they did that with their first brand called Full Send. It's a clothing brand, and it's doing pretty decent from what I hear. Now they're trying to do it again with Happy Dad. Now, why hard seltzer? Pretty interesting the way they go about targeting people, right? It's a very crowded marketplace. There's so many hard seltzer out there. Mike's Lemonade was one of the first ones to get started. These guys said, well, there are so many out there that are already targeting women. There are barely any that target men. So why not do that? So they came in with that type of positioning. They thought backwards from why would a man not drink this? Let's come up with all the reasons and let's tackle them one by one. They started off with having a clean branding, super clean branding. Go to happydad.com and check it out. I'm not trying to promote them or anything. This is just an evaluatory, objective video. I get nothing from any company that we talk about. So, second, they made cans like regular cans instead of those slim cans, and they talk about that in their branding, right? So one thing is they've taken the engaged audience, right, and they've leveraged folks from it. Second, their brand approach has been very similar to Warby Parker's. Come up with every reason why someone would not use it and tackle them one by one. Their YouTube channel promotes a very fun lifestyle that involves a lot of drinking. So instead of promoting other brands, other alcohol brands, they said, well, why not promote our own and make some money from it? See, ownership is the only way you can get to wealth. And they realized that, and that's why they started this. Now, what are some of the cons of this, right? So we spoke about the pros. Pros are like they have an engaged audience. They're able to leverage into selling merchandise and gaining more revenues from it. They need to do this because they don't make money from ads on YouTube, so they need to do other things to make money. Second, clean branding. They found a market, a subset of the market, even in this differentiated landscape, to target. They're targeting men. It's very clean. It's very on point to what men would respond to. Third, their audience makeup, the people who watch their channel, their fans. There's a huge overlap between them and the product they're trying to sell and the content that they're pitching. So content is all about having fun, alcohol, parties, all that stuff that appeals to their audience, which is predominantly male. And the product also appeals to them. So there's a lot of overlap that they've thought this through. They ended up starting to sell ladies' handbags. Might not have that much of a success with it because the makeup between the content and the audience doesn't quite line up with that particular product category. At least that's what their research analysts probably told them. Now, let's talk about some of the cons. Like I said, this is a very, very crowded marketplace. All right, there are a lot of players here. So for a new brand starting in 2021 to be successful with it, it can be really hard, pretty tricky. Then again, you might be like, well, they might not be going for all that success. Well, then why not? What's the point? Second, there are a lot of big players that own a lot of the other companies, right? So a lot of the other companies are owned by a few amount of the big players. Well, that means these big players can put in a lot of dough into competing against Happy Dad. That can be a very big problem for them. That brings me to the last point I'm going to leave you with here today. Exit. Since a very few amount of players own a lot of the other companies, well, what's to say that these guys aren't gunning for one of those exits? Now, if they continue building their audience and the sales keep growing, this becomes a mainstay using grocery and supermarket distribution and start actually coming up as a viable brand that people are preferring and liking the drink, one of these big companies will easily buy them up for a huge multiple. It can be a hefty exit for these guys. I think that's what they might be targeting, so that's promising. That means they don't really need to make this as big as Coca-Cola. They know they won't be able to do that. They just want to make it big enough to sell it to one of the bigger companies. All right, hope this was useful. Let me know what you think about us reviewing more of these brands that aren't huge yet, these companies that aren't huge yet, that still have interesting business models so we could discuss them. Let me know in the comments. I read every single one of them. I respond to every single one of them. If you did find this at all useful, I would really appreciate a like, subscribe to it, because it just helps us keep going. It helps us keep going. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. See you next time. Bye.